At 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it is deadline time for all players under franchise tags who have not signed their tag. Pretty much the idea of the deadline in the new CBA is this. If they don't sign their tag by 4 p.m., then they are forced to play this year under the franchise tag. But next season, the franchise tag values to an average of the top 3 contracts at your position in comparison to the top like 6 or 7 that they use for your initial franchise tag. So in other words, it's actually cheaper over a 2-year span for a team to sign you to a long-term deal than it is to tag you for 1 year and then tag you again the next year. That's why they put it in the CBA, so teams can tag, but players can't get held hostage by the franchise tags. I actually think it was a really good idea and smart move because honestly, those franchise tags really ruined and messed up a lot of guys' NFL careers, to be completely honest with you. So I think that it should be interesting to see who gets deals done and who doesn't. Breeze was one of the biggest names out there, but now that he's covered.
I'm hearing Forte is going to get done.
Matt Forte, Chicago Bears, was franchise tagged last year.
I think this season. I thought he was tagged this year.
Well, I don't know if he's playing on the tag for the 2nd year straight. But anyway, he's definitely on the tag this year.
He's definitely on the tag this year. And reports say that they're going to probably get something done by today.
I hope they do for Forte.
I do too. He's been a monster for that team for the last couple years. I'm also hearing Ray Rice's deal should get done. But I think there's a couple hiccups with a couple other players, though, unfortunately.
Which is going to happen. I think the biggest issue for a player right now is Cliff Averill and Ray Rice. Both of those guys, not 100% sure if they're going to get deals. Averill seems to be the less likely of the two.
Oh, yes, I agree.
From what I've heard, apparently some don't know if he's going to be able to produce the same way he produced last year. I think that I get it with pass rushers because sometimes they just end up having a really good year, but so does any other position in the NFL. So, I don't know. I don't like the franchise tag. I think guys should get their deals because NFL teams can throw a player's contract out the window so fast, tear it up, throw it out, shred it, whatever they want to do with it, so quickly and get rid of a player in comparison to where a player on any moment, his whole career can be over. The NFL teams aren't going anywhere whether they lose one guy or don't lose one guy. And I think the franchise tag is sort of a way for a team to keep a player for a year and not look at him and say, well, we think you're somebody that should be on this team for a long period of time. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I would feel for, my boss to come up to me and say, look, we like you for this year. Think about it.
But it's about money. It's not them saying, oh, we only like you for this year. When it comes down to millions upon millions of dollars with a salary cap, I understand why some teams don't want to sign people for more than a year. Like, for instance, Wes Welker. I don't think he's gonna get his contract done with the Patriots because he wants to get top receiver money. He's been one of the best receivers over the past few years, and I don't blame him. But he's already 33. He's up there in age,
and he's a slot wide receiver.
And he's a slot with a knee injury. So I don't know if he really is gonna get that top money. The Patriots don't want to give it to him, especially since they have Brandon Lloyd. That's just not their way to overpay for somebody. That's not the Patriot way.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not.
So if Welker's looking to make this money, I think he's going to end up being a free agent and go somewhere else. And to be honest, without Tom Brady and the Patriots, I don't think Welker's going to be that great of a receiver somewhere else. He'd have to go to the right system, maybe like the Giants or something like that. Yeah, or maybe bring him to Denver. I don't know.
Oh man, Peyton would have a blast with him too. I think you're completely right on that simple fact. Wes Welker to me is the most, I guess you'd say almost the least deserving, yet the most. It's hard hard to say it the right way because stats-wise, he's probably produced as much, if not more, than any other guy on the list of guys I have. Like, this is my list. Wes Welker, Anthony Spencer, Matt Forte, Ray Rice, Cliff Averill, and Dwayne Bowe. He's easily produced more than any of those guys so far.
I'd say, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Ray Rice and Forte are on pace to compete with him, be better than him, more valuable, however you want to say it. But he's done, he's done enough to say, stats-wise, he's done enough to ask for the money he's asking for. Stats-wise. He's led the NFL in catches over the last 3 seasons. He is arguably one of the best route runners in the entire league.
Oh, without a doubt. And I lied. He's 31.
31? All right. So he's not that old.
No, he's not that old. But he's been in the year for 9. He's been in the league for 9 years already. Like you said, he's been tearing it up, leading the league in catches the last several seasons. I mean, this is ridiculous. He's a monster.
He is a monster, but is he really worth that kind of money?
I don't know. See, it's tough. It's tough to really say it about Welker just because he is a slot guy, and he's really made his money just on catches and catching and catching and catching. I think, last
big drop in the Super Bowl. Anyway, sorry.
Big drop. He, like you said, he led the league last year with 122 catches for 1,500 yards. That was absolutely ridiculous. That was the most receiving yards he's ever had in his career. But a lot of that also had to deal with the fact that they didn't really have any other receivers. They had the 2 awesome tight ends, but when it came down to receivers, they really had nobody else.
No, they didn't. They really had nobody else to truly rely on in New England when it came down to their wide receivers. You had Deion Branch, and then Hernandez and Gronkowski, and they were a tight end type of team. It's just what they did. I think Welker deserves a nice check. I do, but I don't think Wes Welker deserves Larry Fitzgerald and that kind of money. He just doesn't.
I agree with that.
He does not stretch defenses. If anything, he helps defenses compact, get tighter into the inside of the field. I think that, it's interesting because, like I said, when you look at what he's done on the field stats-wise, you would say, yeah, he's worth every penny he wants. But if you look at what he does, you say to yourself, well, in New England, how many different guys could be brought in to do the same thing?
That's tough to say.
It is, but let's be honest. I think Danny Amendola with a little work could do it.
I could see that.
It's a question of work ethic and preparation for the position he plays more than anything else. And it's hard to say we're going to pay you Larry Fitzgerald money when teams constantly don't stress double teaming you. Teams play you to make a quick slant and go, not a deep route. They're not worried about you jumping over them in the red zone. They're not.
Yeah, man. He's only 5'9".
That's what I mean. He's very limited physically in what he can do, and it's hard to sit here and just say, yes, Wes Welker, we're going to give you $9.5 million a year for the next 3 years. I just don't see how he's worth it. And I would hope that even he realizes that he's not worth that much. But I get why you're asking for it based on the numbers. You can show the numbers to any team and say, look, this is what I'm worth. Look what I do for you.
Think about it. Dude, in 2007, he had over 100 receptions. 2008, same thing. 2009, he had 123 catches in 14 games.
And what was the year without Brady? That's the year I'm interested in.
Was that 2000?
Pixel Junkie, I know you're in there with us, man.
I think it was 08, right? Because 2007 was when they lost to the G-Men in the Super Bowl, and they were 16-0 or something like that. Right? They went undefeated, 18 wins and 1 giant loss.
That was 2007.
All right, so 2008, he still had 111 catches, 1,100 yards, and only 3 touchdowns. And one fumble. That was it.
And that's the year without Tom
Brady.
Okay.
So he still ended up performing very well for Matt Castle.
So is he a product of the system, or is he that good?
Product of the system, because when he went to when he played Miami, couple seasons, he didn't perform as well. Granted, Miami has does not have the quarterback status of a Tom Brady, but I'm thinking this has something to do with the system. I really do. It seems like you can plug anybody in, and Tom Brady is just going to find you.
This is true. You know what? That I'll agree with. I feel that Tom Brady definitely makes guys.
He makes them so much better.
10 times better. But that's what makes Hall of Fame type of players, is the fact that you make people around you better. That's your job. And I think that when you look at Brady, he makes everybody around him better. He makes his offensive linemen better. He makes his running backs better. He makes his receivers better. I mean, let's be honest. Gronkowski is a very, very solid tight end from what we got to see out of him last year.
But if you had Blaine Gabbert as your quarterback, he might have only had 3 touchdown grabs last year.
Exactly. So, you know, does Wes Welker get a contract, not get a contract? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.